Reports out this week suggest that another alleged Ponzi scheme may have collapsed, but it's been a long time coming, with investigations into Triple M South Africa dating back to last year already.
The Triple M scheme offered investors returns of 30% a month. Consumer journalist Maya Fisher-French predicted last month that the scheme would collapse, and she joins us on the line now. Maya, thanks so much for your time today. So, by definition, is this a Ponzi scheme? Because members seem to be fierce defenders that it isn't and describe it as a donation program.
You know, if you look at simply the structure of a pyramid scheme or Ponzi scheme, a pyramid scheme simply says that there is no underlying investment. Okay, and I think Triple M would agree there's no underlying investment. You're not investing in something. There isn't a company that's growing dividends or giving you returns. It is merely about you putting in money, and then other people who join putting in money and you getting your returns from those new people who are joining. That is the definition of a pyramid scheme. Now, whether you want to call them donations or a helping hand or whatever, the entire premise of Triple M was you put money in and then other people put money in, and that is where the returns come from. In terms of the Consumer Protection Act, they actually define a Ponzi scheme as something that pays, I think, above 20% above the repo rate, which is currently sitting at 7%. So again, this would tick the box in terms of a pyramid scheme. So anything that we define as a pyramid scheme, Triple M ticks those boxes.
I mean, Maya, Triple M South Africa is part of a bigger global scheme. So there's Triple M Global. There was also Republic of Bitcoin, which has been dissolved, and that was obviously investing in virtual currency. How are you reading the situation at the moment regarding Triple M South Africa?
Well, we're getting these very interesting sort of reports. So what is actually being closed down is the Republic of Bitcoin. I do feel like sometimes I'm dealing with Lord of the Rings sort of terminology here, but because it's about as fantastical, I think, as that. But so the Republic of Bitcoin, and the whole concept of this was that the currency of Mavroy was then converted into Bitcoins. Now suddenly that Bitcoin has been closed, they're saying, well, we will convert these and you will eventually get your money back. You may start getting about 10%, but over time you will get your money back. So to me, it does sound all very sort of excuses and sort of dodging the issue. But there was this whole idea that you were ultimately getting Bitcoins. Now, you know, Bitcoin also is a virtual currency, so it's that one separation again away from your money. And what is Bitcoin trading in rands at this time? So there's a lot of that sort of, you know, it's very, very hard to unpack this thing and to really, really understand what those returns were based on, where this number 30% came from, or anything like that.
Maya, of course, we've got Triple M South Africa, one of 9 companies being investigated by the South African Police Service Specialized Commercial Crimes Unit. Are you surprised that regulators are not getting involved, that this does not fall within the FSB's ambit, for example?
It's a very, very difficult position for our authorities because this is it's a scam. Let's be honest. So they don't. It's not a registered financial service provider. It doesn't report through to the Financial Services Board. You can go to the South African Reserve Bank and suggest to them. I mean, we deal with so many of these. We get boiler room scams that I've dealt with in the past, where people buy shares in companies that they think exist but don't. And the Reserve Bank's hands are fairly tied. They can sort of investigate, they can warn people about them, but really, you know, these things operate outside of any jurisdiction. So it's kind of almost, you know, if I come to you and I say, put some money in my bank account and I'm going to give you a great return, it's just almost a contract between you and I. I'm not pretending to be a registered service provider or a financial advisor or any of those things. So it does make it difficult for the authorities. And obviously you would like to see these things moving quicker and more warnings going out to the public, and possibly if it was investigated sooner, you know, people involved in it could be questioned. But then you get the fans of the product, and they really blame the regulator for the downfall of these schemes. So often these schemes are going along and people are getting money out of them because, as you understand, a pyramid scheme in the beginning pays out money funded by the new entrants. And when it starts getting investigated, people get scared off, people don't want to put more money in, and it effectively brings about the demise of that pyramid scheme. So from that point of view, you're going to have a lot of people saying, well, actually, maybe the Hawks shouldn't have been involved. And maybe our authorities should have just left us in peace, because actually we were going around quite happily and the money was all working, and it's in fact your fault that it stopped.
I mean, if you think back to some of the very high-profile Ponzi schemes that we've had in South Africa, and the Tannenbaum scheme comes to mind, where we had some very influential South Africans invested in these schemes, and I suppose it is quite easy to get sucked into it, Maya. So, I mean, what would you be advising to people who have been sucked into Triple M and still have capital in that scheme?
Look, the first thing I would warn you, see, when I see a lot of these sort of scams that come through, the first thing that often happens is they ask for more money. So what they do is they say straight away, they say, you know what, you will get your money back, but if you could give us just an extra 10,000 or 1,000 rand or whatever, because right now we just need that money and not have a reason. So you think, oh gosh, I've already put 10,000 rand in, let me put another 1,000 rand or 2,000 rand, and then maybe I'll get back my 12,000 rand. And that's often the first step that happens. So I would really strongly suggest, if you still, if you still believe that this is a functional, business, then I can't really help you. But if you are getting concerned, you think maybe your money is at risk, the last thing you should be doing is putting more money into it. And also just generally, if you are ever approached about these sorts of investments, and it is, it's a very simple rule of thumb. If the returns are too good to be true, they are. And, we say that all the time, and every time it's proven true, even in the Tannenbaum environment. As you said, they were high-profile people who were taken. But somehow, that promise of the money, and people can always make it sound so logical. They make it sound like there is something behind it. So it does get very, very difficult. But I would say for people who are already invested, just whatever you do, don't put more money into it at this stage. Whether you get a little bit of money out, at this point, I honestly cannot say. I'd be very surprised. But certainly just keep the rest of your money in your pocket.
Or under your mattress. Maya, let's leave it there. Thanks so much for having joined us on the line today. Maya Fisher-French is a consumer journalist and author of Maya on Money.